I'm doing a recording with the lovely Cassy today, which will be up next week. Give us a wave. Hi!
Hi!
Yay! Good evening and welcome to another episode of A Cuppa With. We're here to talk and discuss people's stories from mental health to mindset and everything in between over a decent brew. In my case, I'm a bit of a snob. I've got Twinings, but this time I've got some biscuits because I do have a fellow Northerner, even if she is in another country. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Cassy. I am the owner of Faodail Creation, which is a handmade sewing business, and also I am an ambassador of education for Radiopublic sewing machines.
Ooh. So how did that come about?
Actually, that's a story within itself. So I have always been doing these. So I started my handmade business and my sewing business, and I wanted to teach people how to sew as well. And I also believe that people should be able to do all the basics without having to pay for like the basic lessons.
Yeah.
So I started to do a load of like YouTube tutorials, like sewing tutorials.
Yeah.
And I was doing this all the time with like my baby lock machine, like, because I absolutely love it. So then I kept on doing it and doing it and doing it. I was doing it like every single week, and I'm being persistent with it. And I decided, I actually waited a little too long to get in touch with them, if I'm honest.
Okay.
I got it into my head, and I'm sure everybody else gets it into their head, that you've got to have all these bloody numbers on your Instagram page, and you've got to be this, like, quote unquote, like, you know, major influencer before you can actually approach anybody to do anything. And it's actually totally wrong. Like, what you're talking about mindset right now. So there was one day, I only had like 300 Instagram followers, and I also only had about 300 people on my YouTube channel at the time. And you know what? I just thought, fuck it. Like, I'm just gonna like send an email to Babylark via just their opening, like, you know, in our website, contact us, and said, you know, I do this, that, and the other, blah blah blah. I really want to be a brand ambassador for you guys. So then, nothing really happens. Well, actually, it did. It happened quite quickly, because somebody got in touch with me like a week later and said, oh, you know, if you want to be like a brand ambassador, you've got to be prepared to, like, you know, like go to like shows and like help sell things and blah blah blah. So she gave me, like, you know, the run of like what it is to be an ambassador.
Yeah.
Because it's more of an ambassador than it is an influencer. There's two different things. So then I like waited a little bit, and about a couple of weeks later, like one of the honchos at Babylark like emails me and said, oh, would you like to go a bit further with this? And they're like, wow. Because I just got it into my head, like, you know, I didn't have that many followers. I was not ever going to get accepted.
Yeah.
And I was laid in bed that time, and I was there like, do you know what? They can either say yes or they can say no. If they say no, I'm going to be in exactly the same position as I am now.
Yeah.
If they say yeah, then it's going to, like, you know, I'm going to get in there kind of thing. So I thought, what the hell have I got to lose? Like, seriously. So then over that time, like, another lady had contacted me and asked me if I was really serious about it, asked me, like, told me a little bit of an insight about what I would, like, need to do. She asked me if I wanted to be an influencer, or if I wanted to actually be, like, more of an educator. And to be honest with you, I really wanted, well, I wanted both.
Yeah.
I want to be an influencer and an educator. But at this time, the education side of things was more important to me because I really want to, I love sewing.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, it's dying almost.
Yeah.
And people think it's old fashioned, and it really isn't old fashioned. You can do so much when it comes to sewing. Even you yourself, like with the cosplay stuff, like it actually is fashionable. So, yeah, I wanted, that's where my heart is in the education side of things. So I said to her that, yeah, I want to be more in line with the education side. So, I mean, it's basically the end of the story, because like now I'm just an educator for Babylark. So I get to go around to like different retailers and like fabric stores and like all sorts, just like teaching sewing. And it's really good because they let you decide like what you want to teach, and so they don't like dictate anything as long as you're like selling the brand and stuff. So I'm really excited about it. Like, it only really happened in like October time.
Oh, that's
so
quick.
And we're like in January now, and I've just come back from the States where they've been educating me again on some of their machines, and I'm really excited about it.
Oh, but just going back a bit, how you said on, I was just saying about mindset when it comes to, you didn't think they'd want you with you being with little followers, with a little group. But like you say, if you don't know, you don't try. Like, if you don't try, you don't know. Sorry, I'll get my words right.
And even if they were going to say no, I also went into it with a positive attitude, because I was gonna think, well, if they're going to say no to me, I'm going to think, well, that just means no right now.
Okay.
No at this moment in time. So if they weren't going to accept me then, I would have followed up again a month later and kept going and going and going and going until they would have said yeah. I would have just hounded them.
You will accept me. No, that's the thing. Sorry, I've got a mouthful of biscuit.
It's okay.
Then, when it comes to it, is you truly believed in what you were doing.
Yeah.
And because you believed in what you were doing, there was no such thing as no. Maybe no.
Well, there's no, like, for me, there was like, I was doing these videos anyway, and even if they would have said no, I sing Baby Lock's praises, like, to anybody, even if they wouldn't have, like, I was all to my friends, like, get a Baby Lock. Like I believe in this brand so much that I would just be promoting them anyway, so they may as well just say yeah and come along for the ride with me.
It's like, I'm not giving you a choice. You are coming along with me. Whether or not you support me or not, your name's coming with me. But there's the thing is, so many people think, oh, I don't have this, or it's a lot of self-doubt. A lot of people doubt, and I'm guilty of it, and I'm sure you have at some point.
I still do it. I get so upset about I don't have enough followers. I mean, like I said, like when I approached Baby Lock, I think I had 300 people. I actually did a whole media package as well, but they didn't actually, like, I went on and did all my analytics and everything ready to send in my media package. But like, I still only have like 400 followers, and it still like upsets me that I don't have enough, because I feel as though I provide a lot of value. But I mean, it's probably not the right time for me to have a lot of followers, but at the end of the day, I do get a lot of engagement out of them few followers.
Yeah.
And I think I'd rather, because I look at different accounts and I think, they've got like 10,000 followers, but then they don't have many people engaging with them. So I'd rather have 300 and have 40 comments rather than 10,000 and only having 2 comments. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely understand that. Same with my Instagram. Like, half the time, I'll be honest, at least you know where you're going with your structure. Me, I ain't got a frigging clue. I just post how I feel and hope it helps somebody. That's exactly how I feel about it. And I've leveraged around the same amount of followers, but they are amazing. Like, I met you through there, and several others who I've connected with massively.
Well, I actually met you, I think, via, like, it may have been, like, through Cynthia, maybe?
It was either Cynthia or Doug.
Pardon, sorry?
It was either Cynthia or Doug. I can't remember which one.
No, more likely Cynthia.
Okay.
Because I think most of us have connected, obviously, through, like, Evan Carmichael's, like, community.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing community. And if you don't mind me touching on, like, Evan just a little bit.
No, go for it. I sing his praises all the time, so go for it.
So, yeah, I have been, like, I work from home, so it can be kind of like, it's alienating, and it can get a little bit depressing, and, like, anxiety can kick in and stuff. And I've seen Evan's stuff, like, a few times, but I think there was I noticed one comment by One Crafty Beach, and I just saw her name, and I was there like, oh my god, I just love that name. So then I started, like, following her. Cynthia, she's changed her handle now.
Yeah.
And then through that, I've just got in contact with a load of different, like all the community with it, well, not all of the community, but like some of the really good friends have come out of like Instagram. Like I have wanted to get rid of Instagram 20,000 times.
Oh God, you're preaching to the choir on that one.
Well, the reason why I stay now is because I've built these friendships with like you, with Cynthia, with J Rise, with like Jed and RJ. Oh my God, like there's so many awesome people that
I can second that. Like with me being a student and then doing all my podcast and everything like that, you find that you spend a lot of your time in front of either a screen or in depth in what you're doing, and because generally what you're doing is you're being a one-person army, you, without meaning to, do exclude yourself from everything because you believe in what you're doing so much that you put all your energy into it.
I don't think we're excluding ourselves. I think the difference is like, I can't relate to anybody in the outside world. I really can't. I think I've always had an entrepreneurial mindset. I've never been able to go to work and just go home, like go to work, do the job and come home. I can't do that. I've always climbed the career ladder. I've always got promotions. And in the end, I felt as though like I was having my soul ripped out of me, and I was working for some person. I was putting all of this effort into this for this person that didn't actually appreciate the effort I was putting in for them.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? I could just quit my job and put all the effort into creating my own business, my own branding, everything I want to do. And if I want to change something, I can go ahead and change it. I don't need 10,000 approvals to change something. It's like, it upsets me thinking about it now because I just don't want to go back and get a job. Like, I just don't like that. It really pushes me. It pushes me. I'm like, I just can't get a job. I just don't want to. I need to push this forward and make it work.
Yep. I've done the same. I've worked I worked too many years in retail of 2 jobs in retail for 2 massive companies that both on the technological retail, but I poured my heart and soul into them, and I even at one point had my son through one of them, and I was the first woman to go, for that I know of, the first woman to go through maternity pay and leave in the entire fucking company. Do you know how stressful that was? Yes.
Are you kidding me here?
I'm not. I was this. You got to remember, this was 10 years ago. But I was the first woman.
It's not that long ago.
I know, but there's been more women since. But it's a second-hand technical store. I don't want to say names in case I get into trouble, but it rhymes with DEX, and it's a red store.
Okay.
And I don't want to get in trouble for saying actual names. It rhymes with Dex. But
you don't have to say actual names.
And but yes, I was the first that I know of, because for several people telling me that I was the first woman to go through maternity pay. I know this because I was the one who sorted it out because my manager didn't know what he was doing. And
that's another thing as well. I've worked for all different companies. I've worked retail. I've worked for a really major corporation as well. And the one thing that I've learned is whenever you have a manager, you've got to have a manager that backs you up. If you don't have a manager that doesn't back you up, then just leave.
Oh no,
leave. It's not worth it.
To his credit, he backed me up. He just said, "You sort it because you know what you're doing."
But it's the thing is that he didn't know what he was doing. A good manager would have figured it out, not left his employees to do it. He gets paid to do something.
Well, we'll move away from that direction. And but the idea of like my last job that I got fired from, because I didn't hit margin, because I was helping customers make money from the company rather than take money from them, and basically
that's too funny.
And what they did was they did me a favour because they fired me, which meant after a week of being absolutely devastated because I'd never been fired from anything, especially I'd put some work into it, it allowed me to go into education, back into education. And from that, I've now discovered, that was 7 years ago, and from that I've discovered now I want to be a clinical psychologist. It's a long feat from where I was, but it did me a favour. But I'm with you. Every time I think, oh, fuck this, I'm fed up of studying, I'm fed up of travelling, I'm fed up of doing this, and then I'm like, what's your alternative? Going back into retail? No, thank you, bring that fucking book back out. Like,
Guys, that's one place I never want to go back. Well, actually, like, what I'm doing is retail, but it doesn't seem like retail because I just love it. I love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But folding clothes and stuff, like, I never want to go back to that again.
Well, you're saying about how you've always had that, I always get those, entrepreneur, oh, for fuck's sake, I can never say my words right.
I'm the same,
Entrepreneurial, that's it. And I'm going down that venture now and I can't even say the word. I've always had that spirit, and I had to take a step back and think, have I been that way? Because if I'm going into a place where I'm creating my podcast and creating this whole channel for myself and all that lot, do I have that spirit? Because if I don't, it's probably not the best idea for me to keep following down that route. And then I thought back to everything that I've done from a kid to earn money. I would go sing carols on people's doorsteps. Like, I'd have a hustle that I ended up, when I was 16, I went to go work at a fast food restaurant. Don't ever do that. I mean, I would if I had to. But I got the night shift when the pub emptied next door. So it was never the... In one night, I got 2 marriage proposals. And the burger must have been that good. That's what I was saying. I lost my train of thought then because I was actually thinking back to the memory of it. But I ended up quitting that job because I had a side hustle that made more money. I was babysitting that was making me more in a week than I was getting nearly in a month at that fast food restaurant.
But don't forget that entrepreneurship just isn't just about, like, the ability to make money and stuff. It's also the ability to, like, push through your, like, negative times and, like, yeah, it gets tough.
It
like,
does.
People just think, they see these, like, Gary Vee types and the Tony Robbins, and I bet even Evan Carmichael has his, like, down days.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't be, like, it's not positive all the time, and it's not, like, the dream thing to be in all the time.
No.
And I think there's something to be said about that as well.
Oh yeah, like as you said, it's not just about the money, but
because anyone can go out and make money if you think about it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I could just go out and get a job like tomorrow if I wanted to. But
I think it's making money on my own terms. I didn't like the fact that these people were doing all these rules, and I'm sure you understand, and anybody who's worked in retail will understand, not one manager can agree on one way. They're all doing different ways, and it's frustrating. And
that's not even if they care.
And the thing is I have really strong integrity. Like, and that's flushed throughout my entire life, like, between my friends.
It's not just that, but are you incredibly loyal as well? Because I'm so loyal to a fault.
Yeah. Like, maybe not to partners, that's past history, but but to friends, and I am a woman of my word. If I say to somebody I will do something, come hell or high water, I do it. If I promise somebody that they've got to spend their time on me, I'm making sure that I've given them the best value for their time. Because as we was talking about earlier, listeners, before we set the podcast, we had a bit of a conversation, and the concept of time, that people see it as free but don't value it. Mm-hmm. But it's the only thing. There's no way you can put a price on time. That's why it's invaluable. It's the fact that there's no price.
Well, you can, because people do get an hourly wage and stuff. It's funny because, like, I remember doing a fair, like, well, a craft fair in the summer, and there's one guy, he couldn't understand why one item was slightly more expensive than another. It's like, well, the time it takes me to make this particular item is longer than the time it takes to make this particular item. Mm. So just because you're buying handmade does not mean it's cheap. Like, you need to have a living wage out of it as well.
See, that's the thing is when I say about cost of time, and there is no price on it, it's how much. I don't think it's the cost of time. It's how much you value your time. That's where the cost comes in. Is where you value your time, and you have to put your foot down to say. Like, I've seen it so many times. I have a lot of people that I speak to, like yourself and a few others. A friend of mine is a comic book artist. I support him in Patreon. I do my best because I believe he's going places. And the amount of times he's saying, like, you've got to understand that it's not just about drawing a picture. It's my time. It's my resources. It's, you know, making sure I've got...
It's also his... this is why, like, because I get a lot of people wanting, like, custom stuff. And it's hard to do the custom work because, like your friends, you've got to spend time in the design process as well as the making process, and it's hard because, like, to price all that out, especially when you're just like making, say, a bag, and then somebody will probably think, well, I can buy that from Walmart for blah blah blah. It's like, well, no, you can't buy it from Walmart because, like, I'm making it custom. How can you buy it from Walmart?
I know it does. It makes the mind boggle, but I have to think that's where you have to.
Your English listeners probably don't even know what Walmart is.
What? Well, no, because Walmart is Asda owns Walmart.
Asda, yes, yes.
It's one of those where I think it comes down to, that's where you've got to kind of say no, or put your foot down, and if they cannot respect you...
Well, the thing is that you don't know when to say no, because you don't know whether one client can actually afford it and you're turning the work down, opposed to the one who thinks, oh my God, who the hell does she think she is, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So...
I think you can... generally, I think it's sussing people out. I mean, if somebody's already coming at you going, I will cover the cost, obviously I will have to work something out, you already know they're willing to foot the bill, and it's, from what I've heard from other people, it's very rare that they back out unless something comes up, because they're already saying that this is, I'm willing to pay, obviously we're going to have to work something out, but it's the ones that go, can you do me this? And then you go, well, I can do, but this, that, and the other, and then they go, oh, well, no, and then you're like, you're wanting something that I can't obviously provide for you because I don't think you respect me enough. I still think it comes down to respect, especially when it comes to the pleases and thank yous. It's surprising how many people go, I want this, and it's like, well, you know what? You could say please and a thank you wouldn't go amiss.
Yeah. And going back to the Evan Cartmell community, the one thing that I really like about finding you guys as well is that I find it hard to relate to people in the outside world. Like, there's too many cogs out there. There's not enough, like, entrepreneurs. So when I find people like you and, like, a few others that are in the same boat as me, trying to become entrepreneurs and trying to create businesses, it gives me this connection with other people now, and now I don't feel like I'm on my own. I'm actually with other people, other empire builders, wanting to make a difference, and not just saying that they want to do something. You're all trying to create something. So that's what I really love.
I think that's the key there, not just saying it but actually doing it. A lot of people say a lot of stuff. There is a lot of noise out there, but very little action.
And I worry sometimes because from the outside, sometimes I think, oh my God, am I that person? Am I not really pushing myself? I feel like I'm going to cry. Is that, am I really not pushing myself to the next level? Because I have another ambassador who is a terribly brilliant friend of mine. I've only ever met her once. And it was the first time that I was over in the States. And she just recently said to me, she's there like, Cassy, it's as if you're walking around the swimming pool and you're dipping your toes in, but you're not quite doing it. So I'm gonna hold your hand now and I'm gonna guide you to deep end, and I'm gonna fucking push you in the pool.
Hey! That's a good one to have around. That's a good person to have around. I like her.
It was going back to you lot had your whole accountability thing going on.
Yeah.
And I felt as though, well, it's kind of like I have like a different kind of business, so I couldn't really like relate to you guys too much.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'm going to go out there and find my own accountability partner. So between me and this lady, we became each other's accountability partners within the same industry. So she's told me, like, I've just come back from the States, and she said, Cassy, I want to see a project that you've done ready to take to class, ready to teach, and it's going to be done by Thursday. We're going to talk to each other, and you're going to have a project to show me. So.
Oh, I like her. Oh, I like her a lot. I love those kind of people.
Because I don't have. It's going to sound really sad. This.
No, go for it.
I don't have that many friends, but the friends that I do have are like just quality, like quality.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I like in my day-to-day life. I don't like to say real life because it's all real life, but in my day-to-day life, I have a very small circle of people, and as much as I love them dearly, none of them are on that kind of level. Like, there's one or two that are trying, and I'll give them credit. The one or two of them that are trying, but in general, no, like.
And it feels sad because I do see people with like lots and lots of friends, and they all go out and this, that, and the other, and it just feels, I don't know, like it's weird. And also, don't forget, I've emigrated to a different country, which also has a bit of an impact, I guess. But yeah.
No, I agree. I agree with that because I see like every weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, I am in the house. I am Friday night. I've just got back from uni. I have very little energy. I want to be in bed. Saturday night, I've got my kids. We've spent the day together. And I'm like, yeah, okay, then I'm going to bed. Like, and Sunday, I'm getting ready for Monday because I have to be up.
Well, this is what's kind of upsetting, especially when I hate it when the media gives social sites like negative energy. Like, they basically say that our social media is like the enemy and people should have like real life like relationships. I really think that social networking has been awesome. It's connected me to amazing people.
I've got a theory on this one, and I've said it for months, that social media is a tool. It is nothing more. It's an inanimate object. It cannot do anything without you making it do something. And it's a tool, like a hammer is. A hammer in one hand can make a beautiful house. A hammer in another hand is a fucking murder weapon. It's not the hammer's fault. It's the person that uses it. And how people demonize social media is the same way they demonize money. It's basically, it just shows people for what they are. They can't, like Gary Vee goes on about it a lot, and it's something I completely agree with him on, is that nothing can change the person. All it does is highlight their characteristics already. If that person is a money grabber, that's always been a money grabber. If somebody is out there to spread negativity on social media, they've always spread it. It's just how they've always been. Trust me, I know plenty of people that they just spew shitloads of negativity onto social media, and then they have the cheek to go to me, oh well, social media is negative. Your last 5 posts were very fucking angry. So you need to back the fuck off. Stop blaming it. Don't put it out there. You don't have to look at these things. It is a tool. You can use it for good or you can use it for bad. It is down to the individual. It's just obviously negativity groups together, positivity groups together. And you do need I think you do need a little bit of both to get a bit of balance, like everything. You need a bit of both. You need the negativity because it can bring power to push you on, but you need the good to kind of come in and go, now that's enough now. We've had too much bad. That's enough. There are positives. But it's a tool, and once people realise it's not this demonic evil presence that's lording over.
I know, it's like you're the same age as me, and like we didn't grow up with like YouTube or the internet. Actually, it wasn't even around when we were younger, and I just think it's a phenomenal, like, I have my own television program on YouTube. That's the way I look at it. Like, you could never have got anything like that 10 years ago. But the ability to press record and have all of that audience, all that population just watching you, I think it's like unbelievable.
Oh, talking about generation gaps. I'm the same as you. Went onto YouTube, like, I'm uploaded on YouTube, look at that! And then I went to my daughter, oh, look, I'm on YouTube. She went, so everybody's on. And I was like, and that's it. That's the difference. When I was 8 and 9, like the same age as my son, I spent my days twizzling around a fence, hanging off a swing, knocking on my friend's door, playing Sega Mega Drive, like that kind of stuff. Now it's just like, yeah, it's just YouTube. Yeah, it's this. I'm like, we were technically the last generation to know life without and life with the net. Like, so I've always said the reason why our generation doesn't generally fit in too well is that we know the difference. We know the difference with and we know the difference without. But we can blend them. I think that's where we get the power from, because we can do both. We can live with it and we can live without it. The only thing I couldn't live without is internet banking. But apart from that...
I still won't use it. I'm like the only person in the whole world that's too scared to do internet banking.
Oh, you have no... I say, for me, I'm just like strict on it. I'm like watching it. But apart from that, like, I think we can bring... Because people love nostalgia. Like, they look at the old days and think, oh, look, wasn't it better? No, it fucking... Whoever thinks back in the day was better, I'm sorry, it's fucking not. The racism, the problems for women and everything like that we had back in the day is never going to be hidden by, oh, do you remember when Pong came out? And, you know, when you had school dinners and stuff like that, it's never going to be replaced. It's like you're looking at objects that you look back on to cover up the fact that life was extremely fucked up. Whereas now, we're open to these discussions. We're able to stop these things happening. We're able to... Domestic violence is finally being a thing that you can be in prisons for, not just that happens between married couples.
Well, you know why this is? I think that this is why social media does play an important role, is that other women can now see that it does happen to other women. So, you know what I mean? There's stuff that can't be swept under the carpet anymore.
No, and other men as well. I think it's like, it's another thing where a lot of men couldn't speak about it and now they can. Because I've known couples where it was the man who was violently beat upon. And now they're finding a community there they can speak about it. Yeah. And I think it's like, I'm sorry, if you think back in the day, like the 60s were the golden era. No, it fucking wasn't. The objects were great. The music, probably a hell of a lot better than some of the rappers that are out nowadays. Like, the music, the objects, yes, they don't make stuff like they used to. I'm not even going to lie. If you don't believe me, our objects were better, try and break a Nokia 3310 and tell me they're not tougher.
You're so funny.
But our way of moving forward is a lot better. Yes, we have extreme lefts, we have extreme rights, and they need their heads knocked into fucking together to realise for a community to work, you need both. But people are able to express themselves. Like, when I was at school, I was friends with a lesbian, and she came out with a girlfriend. Boy, she got harassed. Her and her girlfriend got some serious shit that they did not deserve. And yes, some of that still happens now, but I talked to my daughter and she's like, oh yeah, them two, they've just got together, like, you know, Sarah and Claire have just got together, and it's just normal conversation. How are you telling me?
It's nice, isn't it?
How are you telling me that's not better than harassment and nearly beat up because of that? It's just... It makes my mind boggle. Nostalgia has people, because you know what it is? I truly believe it's comfort zone. People don't like change. Change means you're stepping out of comfort zone. And if you go to nostalgia is that warm place you know very well. And back in the day when I was surrounded by everything I knew and nothing was changing.
That's a good analogy, comfort zone. That really is.
And nostalgia is comfort zone. I've thought about. I've come into this realization that people want to forever stay in the same place. you could say the exact same thing to me about getting out of my bed in the morning. I want to stay in the same place. It's my comfort zone. But nothing's going to get fucking done if I don't get up and get dressed. And that's the same thing as if you've got to get out of your comfort zone. Nostalgia is a reason. There's a reason for it called nostalgia. It's back in the day. You can't have present nostalgia. It don't work. It negates the word nostalgia. So I've
got a great story we can follow up on from that, actually.
Go for it.
Getting out of your comfort zone. So when I got this Baby Lot gig, they wanted me to go over to the States in order to train, and I almost said no, because I already have anxiety about flying on the plane, even with my husband. Now it was, I'm going to fly in the plane on my own to a country that I've never been to. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And I've got worked up so much that I almost was like, I just can't do it. I can't do it. And then I was there like, do you know what? This is just so stupid. Like, why would I stop having this incredible opportunity just because I have this anxiety about going in the plane? Like, why?
Yep.
So I did it. But it was still scared the crap out of me. And then even this time around, I got myself so worked up about going on the plane on my own that I was like, I worked myself up so much. And everything that could have gone wrong went wrong going to the States this time round. So I did write a post on it, but I've just deleted it because I didn't like my selfie. I didn't have any makeup on.
Oh, most of mine I don't have any makeup on because I just can't be asked.
I'm going to tell you the story now. So I went to, going from the flight from Edmonton to Toronto, it was like perfect. But once we got to Toronto, it was literally like snowstorm. Like, it was terrible on the Monday I arrived there. So like, I found out the gate I was supposed to go to, and then I went and I sat there, and there was already a guy that was sat there. And what I've found now is that when I travel, I speak to a lot of people. I don't just sit there and just being on my own. Like, what's the point in just sitting there being
That's
on
the
your own?
northerner. That's the northerner in you.
So I was speaking to this guy, and it turns out that so what they'd done was they kept on delaying it, and then it got cancelled right, at the end on the Sunday evening. So what did you do? He goes, well, what can you do? You just stay in the airport. So I'm like, oh my God. So then, because I knew that, because I was flying out to Detroit.
Yeah.
And my husband already gave me this fear of God in me that I was going to this apocalyptic place in US.
Right.
And I had to rent a car from the airport to go to my hotel from Detroit. So I was fine with it. I'd got into the mindset it was all going to be positive. I was going to have this hire car and maybe able to go shopping. I was got into the mindset it was all positive.
Mm-hmm.
So then they kept delaying the flight and delaying it, and I'm thinking, shit, if this plane goes out, I'm going to be landing in Detroit at 10 at night. I don't even think that the car hire place was going to be open.
Yeah.
So in the end, I was sat there thinking, do you know what, Cassy? If this flight gets cancelled, it's going to be in my best interest. It's for my safety, really. So in the end, the flight did get cancelled. So poor guy that had already been cancelled is now in the airport for the second night.
Oh, poor lad.
And I'm there for my first night. So, and they told us that, so we were in the US customs side of things, and we weren't allowed to stay there overnight. So we had to get out of that part where we'd gone through, collect our bags, and then hang out where you go in for arrivals. Joe, when you walk through the airport, you had to stick around there. So anyway, I started getting flustered now.
Yeah.
I was flustered because I'm on my own and I'm in an airport, and I had it in my head I was going to be the only person in the airport. I don't know why I had that, because everyone's flights was getting cancelled. I wasn't going to be on my own. So anyway, I was I approached a couple of young girls, oh, would you mind if I hang out with you and or whatever overnight? And before I knew it, they'd walked off and just left me. I asked a couple of like young girls whether I could stay with them, and like, they just like ignored me and just walked off.
Yeah.
I'm like, thanks, thanks. So the flight gets cancelled. I end up having to go and get my bags. So I got them off the carousel. I could have stayed around the baggage, and I thought, no, I'm going to just go and walk about. I've got all bloody night. Let's have a tour of the Toronto airport. So I goes outside, and I'm looking for somewhere to eat, and it's not the best place to be held up at. There's not really that many things to eat.
Yeah.
I didn't like any of the places. So I was getting welled up again. I started crying. I'm saying to the lady, oh, this is before I went to get my bags. I said to her, is it worth me stopping in here and having something to eat, or is there loads of places outside to go and eat? Like, what's your opinion? She goes, oh, there's loads of places. So anyway, I goes and gets my bag, and it comes out, and there's nothing. There's hardly anything, and I'm starving. And I'm nearly on the verge of bawling my eyes out and being a wreck.
Oh, bless. Oh.
In the end, so I walk around, so I'm up on the departures at first. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to walk around and see what there is. There's like Subway and like, do you know, all them sort of like crappy places. I didn't really like it. So then I thought, Joe, I'm going to go downstairs. Many people might have thought about, you know, not going down to Arrivals. So I went downstairs to Arrivals. And I'm like looking. And then I see a poutine. Do you know what poutine is or not?
Is that like chips, gravy and cheese?
Yeah, we did have it when we were younger, but they came up with a fancy name.
I was going to say it's chips, gravy and cheese. Get down, chippy.
We used to have that back at school.
Yeah.
Well, it's called poutine. They do a fancy name for it. So there was this like food truck, and they did like loads of different like options of like poutine, like butter chicken, and like just all sorts of different things. So anyway, I got my poutine, and then I was there like, do you know what? I'm getting a pint of beer because I'm just pissed off right at this point. So I stood there with a pint of beer and my poutine, and I turned around and I see this old lady, and I look at her, and they're like, this is like, don't forget, I'd asked at least about 5 people, please could I hang out with you?
Yeah. Oh.
I turned around and I looked at her and I went, would you mind if I sit down with you? I was almost shouting at this poor woman.
Oh, bless.
She said like, not at all. Come and sit with me. And guess what? I hear an English twang.
Oh.
She's from, I can't remember where she said she was from Bristol or something like originally. And she emigrated to Canada when she was 18.
Ah.
Then she starts telling me all of her stories. We stayed up all night, just yakking, all night. Like, so she lived in Toronto, and it turns out that her son was supposed to pick her up, and her son couldn't get there on time to pick her up and had to go straight to work because he works at the airport.
Okay.
So she said the roads were that terrible that there's no point in like trying to get home, that she was just going to stay in the airport and wait for her son to come off shift. So he was due to come off shift at 6 o'clock. So my flight, like I was okay to go and check in at around about 5. So I thought, great, I've got a friend. So, oh my gosh, she told me these amazing stories, just amazing. I don't know if I can talk about it without crying again, because I'm friends with this lady now. Hey, I've got her email address, and apparently if I'm ever in Toronto, I can go and stay with her and everything.
Oh, bless. I love those when that kind of stuff happens.
So it turns out that she's got, right, so she tells me that her long lost sister got in contact with her, emailed her to say, hey, I'm your sister and you didn't know about me. Apparently her mum had a relationship with it was during the war. Yeah. And had a relationship with this army guy, got pregnant, and then later on she found out that he was already married with kids.
Oh, of course.
So it was back in the day where it was disgusting to have a kid out of wedlock, and she adopted the child. So anyway, the sister tried to get in contact with the mum again in the 40s. And her mum turned around and said, "No, I don't want anything to do with you."
Oh, wow.
Could you imagine?
That's horrible.
So after that, she waited. I don't know if she waited or whatever, but once the mum had died, then she got in contact with the sisters to say, "Hey, I'm your long lost sister," and blah, blah, blah. And the sisters they're angry about it. They are angry with their mum.
Oh.
Do you know, like, she turned up when she was 40, where they were all older, where the mum could have turned around and said, "No, I don't want to meet you, but you do have sisters."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So,
Wow.
yeah.
But there's
It was really upsetting.
Wow.
But now they all talk to each other. Actually, they gave her part of her mum's ashes, this long lost sister, and then the other sisters saved up some money in order to buy a replica engagement ring of their mums.
Oh.
I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
And all this came out of a flight not turning up, being cancelled.
Oh my god, she was the most amazing lady. Amazing lady. She told me that she was waiting for a doctor's appointment once, and she noticed that this lady... Oh, I'll tell you the other part of the story first. She had told me that she had ovarian cancer, and her husband couldn't handle it and left her.
Wow. You know what? That actually happens quite a lot.
That is, like, deeply upsetting for me. That would just... She had 3 kids, and her husband just leaves her.
A lot of people can't handle it. You'd be surprised how much cancer and there's a lot of studies behind it that a lot of terminal illnesses just break relationships. It's mental. People would think it would bring them closer together, but the trauma of it just breaks them up.
Wow, like, I just couldn't believe it. And so she was saying that once she was sat in his doctor's surgery and she was looking across and she could see this lady that was obviously she could tell she didn't have a lot of money, and she had these 3 kids, and she looked like she was like the only, like, she didn't have a husband or whatever.
Yeah.
And she wanted to do something for her. So she said to her son, "We need to find out where this lady lives." And apparently they found out where she lives. And because she wanted to do something nice for her. So, and he turns up on her doorstep, and apparently it was in this, like, kind of dodgy, like, place in, like, Toronto. And then the son is, like, knocking on the door, like, trying to get this lady to answer. And apparently she'd just come out of an abusive relationship, so she thought it was her boyfriend coming back to beat her up. And it turns out to be this lady's son. And then he's saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but my mum saw you in the doctor's surgery and she wants to do something really nice for you." And she had got her, like, a $75 gift voucher and bought her kids some, like, warm coats.
Oh, acts of kindness. Beautiful
Oh my
acts
god,
of
I'm
kindness.
so humbled by this lady. Like, so humbled. I'm like, do you know what? I don't feel as though I do enough, you know?
Going
you
back
listen
to that, yeah.
stories like that, and you think, I don't think I'm humble enough.
But in saying that you're humble, you negate the humbleness of it, because it's one of those that I kind of think you should act in kindness and your humbleness will show through. It's like you act it, you don't need to say it. But it goes back to what you're saying, how you never feel like you're doing enough, and then somebody comes along and tells you a story, you can't help but go, I take energy from that and go, right, in what way can I do better?
Yeah.
And stories like that always, where these random people come into your life, whether or not you speak to them again or not, negates, it's neither here nor there. It's that initial refueling of going, all right, I thought I was going in this direction. I want to do more. This has spurred me on. And it's not just even in motivation, because motivation's fleeting. Where it sticks with you, when certain things stick with you, you can't help but want to carry that on. Even if you just pay it forward for one person, as I said before, ripples don't return. Once you've put it out there, even if one kind deed goes, you do one, it carries on going. Like that woman told you the story of her kind deed to you, which spurred you on to think, right, well, where can I go on a kind deed? And then you'll do a kind deed and somebody else will go, oh, well, that was an amazing deed. And like I say, ripples don't return. You throw a rock into a pond, those ripples keep on going to the very edge. And that's exactly what I think when it comes to these kind of stories and kind of kindness and stuff like that. You just can't help but think, if they don't return, you got to make sure you put that good out there.
Yeah, and going back to that original story, because I was like so anxious about this flight, so anxious, and now it makes me feel really excited about flying on aeroplanes, because I always meet the world's most amazing people. So I could have had that cancellation of that flight, and I could have literally just sat down and thought, oh my God, this is like the worst situation ever. I'm in this airport on my own. I could have been taking photographs, like saying like all this bad shit about being in this airport and having all this cancellation issue. But I decided in my head, no, I'm not going to play the fucking victim. Excuse my French.
You already swung, and I swear all the time, so don't worry about it.
I'm going to make the most of it. And I was determined I was obviously determined that day that I was going to find someone to talk to, and I did. Like, I call her my airport angel now.
But that's the thing is we get these ideas so worked up in our head of how it's going to be, that even when they're small things, you just get them worked into your head. Like, I had I wouldn't say it's a similar thought process, but very different situation. I had a gig that I went to last week, and basically it was me going on my own.
I know, I resonated with this.
And I was just like, the idea of going to a gig on my own, what the fuck? This is scary as fuck. And my anxiety had me talking me out of it up until the moment I left the house. I even got there, I was like, well, if I can't find anywhere to park, then that's it, I'm not going. But
it's like, it's fate, I've got to go home.
Yeah. And I was like, no. I kept telling myself over and over again, no, you are going to do this. And the only way I was going to do it is if I wasn't getting dressed up, I was going to go as myself in my normal clothes. Yeah, I put my boots on because they look nice. And a little, my normal makeup, normal day-to-day makeup. I didn't go over the top or anything like that. I just went as myself. So I was fully comfortable. And yes, there were times I felt anxious at the night. Yes, there were times I felt a little out of place because I was like, I don't know how to be or anything like that because I was just on my own. But the band was so inclusive at times. It was just like, I enjoyed every moment of it. And I was like, if I'd listened to these lies that my anxiety had told me, and they told me a whole fucking story, it wasn't just like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and it follows on. And if I'd listened to that, I would have missed out on an amazing night. I wouldn't have a podcast recording because the boys did a podcast recording for me. I wouldn't have had one of the best experiences, and I ticked something off my bucket list that was to go to a gig on my own, which has now spurred me on that I'm going to go see Kevin Smith when he's over here. So I was just like, yes.
So that's awesome. And I think, I don't know how many people like suffer with like doing things on their own, like flying on their own, or like even going to a movie on your own, or I have this fear about even eating on my own. But even the last time, like when I went to the States, I found that eating at a bar, when you sit and eat at the bar, is much more better than just sitting at a table, because now you're talking to the barman. Oh, and so they know you're on your own, and they're lovely, and they chat with you. Like, just because you're on your own, it doesn't mean that you have to be on your own.
Well, that's the thing as well. But I actually kind of like doing stuff on my own. I am one of those weird little people that I just like to just get on with it. Because sometimes I think, like, there's times that I like to talk to people, and I'll just like, smile. But I get a little bit of social anxiety, so I do get a bit anxious when people try and approach me to talk to me. So I can be quite like, this is my box, stay away from my box, this is my space, don't enter my space.
I would break you down if you sat next to me.
But because of people like you, I've also had some amazing experiences in these conversations. And I know that it's made me get out of my space at times. Sometimes it's fallen flat on my face of conversations, but sometimes it's worked out really well. Like last TED Talk I went to, I met an amazing woman. We had an amazing chat. We spent a good few hours over a bottle of Prosecco, having a good long talk. And we haven't spoken to each other since, because it was just that conversation. We both needed it at that time, and that was it. And we both took from it what we needed. And these are the kind of things that I have done on my own, but then embraced it. It's like, all right, we're going to do this. This is our space. And then, no, we're going out of our space. And I think these are the kind of things that help with people. I like to do stuff on my own. But like you say, you're on a planet with 7.7 billion people. Are you ever really on your own? Unless you're actually in your house, and if you're like me, you're still not on your fucking own because there's somebody there. But but it's one of those where people like you help people like me. Because even though I am when you get talking to me, I'm the bubbliest person in the world, I need that barrier breaking a lot of the time. And that does come from my social anxiety.
I do. I have another story on my travels as well. So this was the last time I went to the States. I was coming back home, and there was this young girl, and she was like literally an emo. Like, she was like black hair, like tattoos, like piercings, everything. And the only connection I had was the fact that she had this cat in this caviar. And I was there like, oh my God, you've got a cat. And she's there like, yeah. And after that we were like, hit it off big time. Like, we were talking for like an hour and a half waiting for this plane, having a laugh. She was only young, which is probably older than that. I was only young and they're like 19. I'm like, I'm getting so old. They're only young and they're like 30. So after a while it clicked to her. She goes, do you know what? I never talk to people, ever. I never ever talk to people, and I've just been sat here talking to you for like an hour and a half. And you know what? I felt honoured.
Yeah.
That she said that. Like, I felt honoured that I have this connection with people, that they can actually open up. I have instances where people just give me their life stories, and obviously with that woman at the airport, it's like everybody just opens up in front of me. It's lovely. I love it.
See, that's a good thing to have, because as I say, like with myself, like if you know me, I'm weird and I don't care. If you don't, I am very, very anxious because I'm not sure how to take people. I'm too busy reading them to see if they're a threat, because I had extreme social anxiety at one point. I couldn't leave the house without my headphones. I would get into a busy place and I would be screaming to get out of it. And if I went too busy, I couldn't focus. I literally would zone out. And an ex once was like, oh, I don't understand this anxiety. I don't understand, from a person who doesn't understand it, they're like, oh, whatever, you're going over the top, you're being a bit dramatic. And then he saw it and he's like, oh shit. He went, I literally had to grab your hand and pull you through because you were gone. Like, literally, I can't focus. Well, I haven't had it that bad in a very long time, but I couldn't focus. And so when it comes, I'm better now than I used to be, a lot better than I used to be. But I still have that guard about me. I have that, I got told I walk like I just don't give a fuck. Half the time, I don't give a fuck. But there are times like, I'm thinking, am I pushing people away about the way I'm being, and am I purposely doing it because I'm trying to keep myself safe? And that's
something that I have to remember as well, because I just expect everybody to be a social butterfly just like me. and when I try, like, not everybody is just going to be like wearing the heart on the sleeves like I do. Like, and I sometimes see that as like somebody's been standoffish with me. It's like, and it feels like, oh, well, if you're not being like completely open at the start, like I'm being completely open at the start, then like, why should I have to wait for you to accept me, kind of thing? Do you know, that's my problem sometimes.
My problem is I never know how to take people that are like, hi, from the beginning, and I'm like,
that's me. That is me. I'm like, hi.
idolize that behavior because it's somewhere I want to be, and that's where I've been striving to get to. So my way of building up is smiling at people as I go by and stuff like this. These are also, listeners, these are things of going, if you want to try and build up, for me it was smiling, a random hello or thank you, or just actually using your voice rather than nodding. If you're a northerner, nodding.
It's come over time though. For me, it's come over. I never used to always be like this. I've gone through life being quite shy, and it's been over the years that my confidence has built up. Especially, like I said to you before the show started. I remember, I used to work at this corporate office, and he said to me, "Cassy, we want you to do the safety speeches, the safety presentations." And I'm like, okay then. And then I didn't realise that I would be doing it in front of 200 people, most of which are VPs and managers. That really scared the shit out of me. But I wanted, my one word is fun. So I wanted to make the safety things fun for people to listen to and stuff. So everybody used to look forward to my presentations because I used to make them fun and enjoyable. But could I stand up in front of them 150 odd people and not? I don't know if you've ever spoken in front of that many people before, but
no.
My lips used to shake.
Quiver.
I don't think anybody could see it. And I used to get this terrible twitch in my eye. It used to start twitching. I'm like, oh my God, I just want to deliver this speech in front of all these people.
Yeah.
But the confidence, it comes over time. And I really want to be a keynote speaker now. I want to get up on stage and I want to show people how to do so stuff. But
that to me, being a TEDx speaker is the ultimate goal in my confidence, because
I would love to do that.
And my issue is, and I know what my issue is I can never pinpoint a topic, because if I pinpoint a topic, that means it'll be coming soon. And I literally stop myself. I know what my issue is. I'm like, oh, I'll talk on this topic, and then my brain goes, you do realise what's coming next, right? And then I'm like, oh shit, no, maybe not. And then I'll doubt myself. And I do this a lot all the time. There's a lot of times, and I'm sure other people can relate to this, is I don't fear failing. That doesn't bother me in the fucking slightest. I do not fear failure. I have failed more times than I've had hot dinners. I can say there is not one point in my life where I've gone, yeah, I haven't failed 100 fucking times at something. But fear of success, boy, do I have that. And I'm not.
I was going to take the words right out of your mouth.
Yeah.
I have the same issue. I have a fear of being so successful, and I don't know why, and I think that's sometimes why I stop myself going to the next level, because I fear that success.
For me, I know what it is.
I know it's there. If I tunnel vision, I know I can get it.
I know what mine is, and it comes back to comfort zone, is that I know what failure is. I know how to handle it. I know how to manage it.
What success feels like.
Yep.
Oh my God, I think you've hit that nail on the head.
I know what failure feels like. I know how to be resourceful in bad times. I know how to get through them. But I could, you give me a problem any fucking day of the week. I will sit there and tell you how to work it out like it's a math equation. But you tell me what to do after I've had success at something, and I will self-sabotage it every fucking time. Because...
Oh, how weird.
Because it's one of those where... And I'm pushing through it now, and now that I recognise it, I'm doing my best to push on through. But it's one of those that I've never classed myself as a success. Never once. I've never once classed myself as a success. I am just trying to do my part. And when other people talk to me, but I always feel like they're blowing smoke up my ass. Because they're like, oh, but you're doing brilliant, you're doing this, and you've succeeded at this, and I'm just like, I don't see them like that. I just see these are the steps that I have to do what I want to do. And they're like, don't you realise that's a success? And I'm like,
yeah,
no. if I did. Like, that's a stupid question within itself. Do you not realise that's success? No, obviously not. Otherwise I wouldn't have a fucking fear of it. But but it's one of those where I recognise it now, and I've got to the point now where I now see where I'm literally shooting myself in the foot. So now I've got to the point where I'm shooting myself in the foot, and I'm recognising it's my own gun, that I'm now being able to go, right, where can I start small and have small successes and recognise, appreciate them and relish in them, so that I can lead up to the bigger ones and they won't seem as scary.
And that's some of our problems as well, is when you really do need to celebrate the baby ones as well as the huge ones, for sure.
That's the thing is I can cheerlead like you wouldn't fucking believe. But for myself, no. I've always played myself down. Because beforehand, even though I created...
Do you know what? Do you not think that that's an English thing, though? Do you not think it's an English thing? Because I say to people, it's like, in England, it's very hierarchical. Like, it's always about, someone's at this level, someone's at that level, and someone's at this level. Over in North America, they don't have that. Over in the States, over in Canada, anybody can be anything. It doesn't matter where you come from. Actually, North America prefer that you're the underdog.
That's the thing here, we appreciate the underdog. But there still is a class system that is... It's one of those, it's not spoken about, but it is enforced. And it's one of
I still think it's the attitude in the UK is basically like, who do you think you are, thinking that you can get that?
Exactly.
I mean, do you think or not?
And you know what? You have just pinpointed exactly why I struggle to get on with people. Because I already have a fucking fear of my own success. I do not need you pulling me back.
Other people to come in. Yeah.
I'm like, luckily enough, the 4 or 5 people that I have around me constantly, they cheer me on. They might not understand everything that I do. They might not talk about what I do very often. But if I do bring it up, they do cheer me along. But I've had to cut a fuck ton of people because I'm trying my best to get out of what I already know is holding myself back. And they're all like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Like, get back into your place. And I'm like, that's not my place.
And sometimes, I know it sounds really bad, but sometimes even family, you have to block it out. I know you can't totally get rid of them, but sometimes you have to block out that negativity because you have to, like, move on and be positive with what you want to do.
Oh, I agree. And it's one of those that, I'm saying this to any listener, it might be hard with family, and coming from, I have not had any contact with my parents apart from once in over 10 years now. And because they have a whole load of, like, that's a whole bag of crap we're not getting into. But they were toxic beyond level. Now, you might not have it to that level, and I have other family members that I'm still in contact with, but because of their attitude, I keep it to a certain amount. Just because overall they're quite a negative person, and I just can't deal with that. I love them, but I can't deal with that. And know that you're bonded by blood doesn't mean to say you have to like them. You may love them, but you don't have to fucking like them. So, like, I love some of my family. Do I like them or their attitude? Oh, God, no. But it's one of those, that's the way it is sometimes. And I think if you are being pulled back when you're trying to sort yourself out, you've got to cut that in some shape or form, or lessen it, or don't speak about what you're doing around them if you know it's going to bring up issues. Just go.
There's another thing I want to touch base on as well before I forget about it. And I know a lot of people say this about, if you don't believe in you, then how are you expecting other people to believe in you, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to let everybody know that you do have your difficult times, and that you're allowed to have that difficult time. You can't always think, I believe in myself and I'm going to get this, like, eventually. Like, you do, like, some people say you shouldn't need an external person to come into your life. and say that, I believe in you. But I think that's bullshit. I think you do need that. Because, like, sometimes you get a little bit low or anxious about what you're doing because sometimes you're the only person. I can't afford to hire a team. I'm doing everything on my own. I'm my own, like, media person. I'm my own YouTube person. I do everything on my own. So it's hard. Like, I can't speak to anybody who's in my position and ask them whether, is this the best way forward? So if you can find people in your life that believe in you more than you believe in yourself at times, then fucking go and find that if that's what you need.
See, that's the thing is that I agree with that completely. Like, I don't need anybody to validate me as a person. As a person,
it's not like we're validating ourselves. I still believe that everybody still goes through times where they don't believe that's what I'm saying.
Like, when you're bringing people in to believe, like, as a person, you can believe in yourself 100% and don't need anybody to validate you as your personality, as who you are, as a day-to-day person. But what you're trying to do to better yourself and those around you, I think that's where you need it, because you are your biggest worst enemy. You will do something, you will doubt it, you're not sure, and you'll go for something, and even if you've already actually gone for it, you'll still sit there for a good couple of days going, was that the right decision?
But I don't want people to think that, oh my God, that these people are entrepreneurs and they never go through downtimes because they always believe in themselves, because I think that's just a false statement. I find it hard to believe that everybody can just believe in themselves.
I think it's constantly. You can believe in your purpose, you can believe in your cause, but it doesn't mean to say you believe you're doing the right thing for it. And I think there's a big, massive difference. Like, you can have all the meaning in the world and believe in your meaning, your purpose, and what you're trying to do. Whether or not you're going to do it successfully, that's where the doubt comes in.
Yeah.
And you do.
And that's where it's nice to have them other people. Like I said, I don't have a team, but I've built, like, I do have a business mentor, and I do. Like, my mum's like my number one fan.
Well, that's the thing is like, I'll tell you something that surprised me is, obviously listeners, last couple of episodes ago, I had Ashley Collins on, Aunt of Dragons, so she also does the Breakup Diaries, and I did a video with her. She asked me to be on her YouTube, and she was like, oh my God, I'm like your biggest fan, and this, that, and the other, I'm a proper fangirl, and I was like, who? Me? Like, what? Why me? And then she did a video, like, and saying how, everybody should follow me, because she, like, should have a daily dose of me every day, and I was just like, oh, and I honestly didn't know what to do.
See, this is the part of your success, you see. Like, you don't know how to handle it. You don't know, And
I'm getting so fed up of saying thank you. Not in a rude way, but I want to say more than just thank you, because thank you doesn't seem enough. And also part of me goes, oh my God, if that's on the small scale, my mind's going to fucking blow if I go bigger. But but these are the things I don't...
What do you mean if?
When?
Thank you.
That's the thing is like, I never expect these things. It's like, people say, well, the byproduct of what you're doing, obviously it's going to go, and I'm just like, you're saying obviously, like, I'm supposed to accept that's what's going on. My brain's gone, right, we're going to try this. If it doesn't work, we'll move on to the next thing. And the key point is, I've gone, if it doesn't work, we'll move on to the next thing. I never made up a plan if it does. So,
do you know what? I don't think it's about moving on to the next thing. I think things naturally progress on from one thing to another.
Oh yeah,
that's what I've noticed.
Oh yeah, completely agree. And it's I would never have thought that somebody would be looking to me for advice or guidance, and I just say what I feel, and if it's good, great. If you think I'm talking bullshit, great. I honestly, that's one thing. If I'm speaking about what I'm speaking, I don't open my mouth unless I've got something to back it up. That's one thing I've always done. If I won't open my mouth unless I've got something to back it up, because that's where shit gets fucked up quick. Sorry, there's no other way of putting that sentence. Shit gets fucked up quick if you do not know what you're talking about. But it's one of those that I never take into the consideration that somebody would actually want to watch it I just do it because I feel it's right. And when people are going, oh yeah, people are going to watch you and they're going to like it, and I'm just like, but I know that's going to happen, but it's still a surprise because I don't.
So do you think that the reason why we haven't got that many followers is because we're not ready to accept the success that we should have? That's a way to look at it.
That's the thing is I, and listeners, you know how much I believe in this podcast. Like, it is my baby. I mean, I still get, there's still parts of it that I need to change up and all that lot, but this podcast and all my stories I take to my heart. Every person I've spoken to, I could literally reel off everything we've said in the last 50 odd podcasts. I could reel them all off, and it shows because within the last month my listens have boosted, and I've just talked about it in the same way as I'm talking right now. Is I love this. I love these conversations. They mean so much to me, and it's showing in that. And if I could just take that bit and move it into the rest, that'd be great. But it's figuring out putting this love into the rest of it.
And you know what? I've been stopping myself from just being myself as well.
Boom! I'm on the same.
I first started my YouTube channel, and I wouldn't talk because I hated the sound of my voice. So I did everything via caption, and it was music. Then after that, I progressed on a little bit with a bit more confidence, and I started to write scripts. So I'd literally read a sentence, record it, stop it, look at the sentence, read it. Like, I'd stop at each sentence and record it all the time. Then I was all like, Cassy, you know what you're talking about. Like, this is so stupid. Like, I was coming across like a bloody robot. So then I still had the music behind and everything. And in the end, I just thought, you know what? I'm not doing music anymore. I'm just going to do it just with me, and just, I know what I'm talking about, so I'm just going to do it freestyle. Still a bit ropey after like 10 or 20 videos. But you know what? The more you do the videos, the more relaxed you come across. Like, because I'm now all of a sudden in my YouTube stuff, like looking more like this.
Yeah.
Where we're just like, I'm just looking at the camera and I'm speaking relaxed and I'm just filming the damn video. Like, I'm putting more of my personality. Like, because 2019 has to be about putting Cassy into my work, because I can't. Like, I've got to do that a lot more. Like, I'm the most unique thing about my company.
Yeah.
And I'm not showing it.
No,
I need to show me from all the other different handmade companies, from all the other different people doing the YouTube channels. I have to show me.
But that's the thing is I'll be honest, I was holding back on my own personality. I am very upfront. Like, when I
I swear like a sailor generally, but I can't do that on my YouTube channel, so I do hold that back.
I fucking do. I don't give a shit. Like, this is the thing is, listeners, I'm sure if you go back to the beginning, I barely swore. I stopped myself. My true self is I swear. My true self is I'm loud. My true self is I'm half introvert and I'm half extrovert. I am a bit of a div. I forget my stuff. But I care, and my intent is always good. Like, It wasn't until I watched Gary V's, you should watch that, Gary V's on swearing, video on swearing. Anybody else who was doing this stuff and swears like me, I honestly, when I get going, I get going. But my intent is never to offend anybody, but I have to be true to myself. And he said, when does it stop being passionate and going to offensive? And he said, when there is intent behind it. And my intent is always, what are you gonna feel more? I had a bad day or I had a fucking shit day. Which one are you gonna feel? Because I know if I walk up to somebody they say, was that a good concept? Like, yeah, that was really good. Oh, that was fucking amazing. Like, you know which one you're gonna feel that to your core.
Don't forget that I have a brand to think about.
But the thing is
And also my demographic is much older. Like, the people who follow me are like 45 up.
But doesn't mean to say you have to stop. You could easily have a show for sewing for the younger lot and be like our age and down. That is a bit more free. You don't have to stick to the demographic of our age and elder. You can easily go, well, that's for them and that's generally what they accept. But I know there's a younger, like my daughter, she loves sewing. She swears like me. I don't care. Like, as long as she don't swear at me, or I'll take her fucking head off. But
that's so funny.
I've always been one of those, like, once you get to 16, rules do change, and I fully accept that. But I also accept that if I swear, she's gonna swear. My son, he knows that they're adult words. He also knows the intent behind them. I have taught him intent, so that he knows the intent behind it. And I think that's knowing the difference. But if my son was to sit and watch you doing some sewing stuff, and you was doing the same, like, oh, I've just fucking hurt myself, or something like that, because we all know you do, at times. But she could relate to that. And that's the kind of thing, I mean, it's one of those that just because...
And you know, it's like keeping them blue things in, like, because when I was doing my YouTube stuff, I was always thinking about making it, like, professional and this, that, and the other, and I don't necessarily think that people want to watch professional. Like, people just want to watch, like, me being a klutz sometimes, like, and I need to show that a bit more.
That's the thing, is like, I do those things on Instagram, and I noticed the difference between when I did a posed video and then when I did daft, when I actually showed who I am, because you would see the difference in the views. And so I've just kind of embraced that. Like, I've gone into who I am properly. I've in this last couple of weeks, when I've really doubted myself, I'm like, you know what, I can't keep this charade up. This is not who I truly am, and it's exhausting trying to think of how I would reword it, maybe not swear as much and stuff like that. And I'm just like, you know what, fuck it. Like, literally.
I love that.
Like, any time in my life I have ever thought to myself, it could go good, it could go bad, fuck it, let's see. And my fuck it theory, there's a theory behind it, people, there's a theory, is, you know, you've made a right decision when your head and your heart meet together, your head, heart, and your stomach all connect and go, we don't know how this is gonna go, but we're all on board. And you never know the future, but if they're arguing, you can see 600 different ways into the future. That's how, if I can't see the future, I know I've done the right thing. If my brain or my heart is giving me 700 different ways of how it's going to either go right or go wrong, I know it's not right. Because if you know it's the right decision, you don't need to know the future. You just know you're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
If it's the wrong decision, you need to prepare yourself. So I always think, if it's the right decision, you don't need to know the future. You have faith in what you're doing. If you don't, your mind's going to protect itself, so it's going to find a way, because you're already arguing internally. If this all not going to match up, then of course you need to prepare and plan. And I've always stuck with that theory. So that's my fuck it theory. So if I go fuck it, that's it. I know every part of me.
I want you to write a book called The Fuck It Theory. I think it'd be really good.
Well, there's actually already a fuck it theory out, but I don't agree with that fuck it theory. I think it's long-winded. I think there's no need for a fucking book. Like, I've just told you in 5 minutes what a proper fuck it theory is. And this man, like, don't get me wrong, it's a decent book, but, and he just calls it fuck it, and he's like, fuck this, he's like, oh, you should fuck this. I'm like, why are you going into depth about it? Why are you making it more, like, complicated than it needs to be? If your head, your heart, and your stomach are all in it, fucking go for it. Like, that's it, just do it. Like, there's never going to be a right time, but if everything is synced up and you don't know the future, but you have faith in it, just go for it. Just go for it. What's the worst that can happen? You're still in the same position? It's not changed. You've just got a bit of experience. So, yeah. Oh, you know what? We've rambled on. And
one One second.
Go on.
Before we leave, I want to say one thing.
Go for it.
So we're going on about this, the fear of being success. So I remember being in a fabric store, I don't know, it was a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago, and this lady was there oh, excuse me, and they're like, here we go. Someone recognized me off my YouTube channel, and she was there what's that hair colour?
See, and that's expectations.
Okay, ready for it.
It's ready. But the thing is, right, I think, and you heard it first on a suggestion here on the podcast, we should be each other's accountability partner when it comes to fear of success.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
I think every week or so, we'll sort this out. We'll sort out the details.
I think a week's too short, if I'm honest.
What we could either way, we'll sort out a time.
It's not the fear of success because I've just pushed it back. Do you like that?
Well, look at that.
Oh my God.
I think every week we're going to have to do it every week now. We're going to have to. So every week we should do one thing that we could celebrate that we had a success on.
Oh, wow.
And you heard it first on the podcast, people. You know what? I'm going to keep up with this.
Thanks, Lynn.
Well, I told you I'm a woman of my word. A woman of my word.
Okay, so is it bye from me?
Well, first, before you bugger off, and people need to know where you are. Oh, people need to know where you are then. Where do they find you?
Everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Google Plus, Twitter. I'm everywhere.
It's not hard to find you in a hunt, is it?
No. I've even got a first page, I think, on Google if you even search Faodail creation. There's no excuse.
Just in case people are not sure, how do you spell it? Just to be sure.
Faodail.
Right. And what I'll do is I'll put all the links as well. There might be a few. Where you can find, she's here, people. She's here. Also, final question. I ask this to everybody. You're about to meet somebody who's about to go through everything that you have gone through, all your ups, downs, highs, lows, the lot. You're not allowed to tell them a fucking thing. You're not allowed to tell them what is about to happen to them. Nothing. All you can do is give them 3 pieces of advice before you send them on the way.
Oh my God, why don't you prep me for this?
No, I like surprises.
Oh, how about enjoy the process. Oh, I need my 3 things. I have a 3 thing and I can't even remember it half the time that I came up with. It's my credo. 1 second.
I binned my credo. I'll be honest, I binned it.
Oh really?
I binned it because I don't need
I
it.
actually thought I could stick with this one even though I can't remember it.
Well, then obviously, if you can't remember it, doesn't stick with you. For me, my credo is...
I know.
My credo was all this bullshit, and I was just like, it's bullshit. I'm down to help. That's it. In any which way I can.
I had thought, enjoy the learning, get excited about the process, and have fun creating the work. And I think it's an awesome credo. I just can't remember it.
The thing is, I'm going to say this to you now. If you can't remember it, there's something not quite resonating with it.
I know, isn't that bad?
And for me, I just... Do you know why I didn't resonate with a credo? Because my credo is, fuck it, I just want to help. That's it. There's nothing extra. Like, I want to help.
I think I will enjoy the ride.
That's it.
There's no 3 things, just enjoy it.
Your one word is fun. You can't put rules to fun. Like,
I know.
So a credos is your kind of rules for living. Fun doesn't have rules. Like, what? You have fun, but you've got to stick to the rules. What is this, Monopoly? You can't do this, and it never ends well in Monopoly.
I know, and like my enemy is basically boring. Like, I hate boring. Like,
well, of course, it's the
boring
opposite to
just
fun.
can't be in my life.
It's the opposite to fun. I can't stand.
Exactly.
For me, the opposite to me is I will always feel horrible if I could have helped and didn't. So
Yeah, because your one word is help.
Mm.
So what? Like, it's not just unhelpful. There must be another word to define.
uncaring. Fucking can't stand it.
Yes.
Uncaring.
Yes.
And unempathetic.
You just sent shivers through my self because I was like, oh my god, that just does not describe you. Yeah.
I can't stand uncaring people. I will care. And the thing is I know with help, I don't need to say it, but help is not just for others, it's also for myself. Help is everything for me, from helping others to helping myself. That also means helping myself say no sometimes, getting back to original topics and stuff. But it's always one thing, and I don't think sometimes credo's nice, but if it resonates with you so well, your one word, you are it. You don't need to say what it is. You are it. That is your credo. You are your credo. That's it. Not in there.
Yep. I have to have fun. I have to put fun in everything I do.
And it's with, you know what, listeners, before we started this, we're bugger for talking for too long, and I knew this one was going to run over my normal time, but you know what, I never edit my podcast. They go out exactly how they are. Fuck it. Exactly, they go out exactly as they are, and this one's been, it's been filled with tea, biscuits, and a bit of laughter. So I'd like to say thank you for being on my podcast and definitely giving me something to giggle at. And now you're my success accountability partner.
Thanks, Lynn. Thank you so much for having me.
And from me, good day, good brew.